In fact, when you talk about the name Osinachi, it now serves as a case study for women to remember. Say, when your marriage don't turn to yam pepper scatter scatter, it's either you sit down with your brain, talk to your brain, action it with movement, and live to live. Hello, everyone. You're so much welcome. With the kind of exposure we have, with the kind of social media, with the kind of enlightenment and empowerment that women have empowered themselves, it is unfortunate that we still have cases where, a woman would buy because of the man in her life. A lot of things are happening. Years ago, it wasn't something that we knew so much about, though we knew it happened. But these days, because of the social media platforms we have, all these kind of news make way to the online space, and we have no choice but to talk about it. Have we forgotten so soon the kind of trauma, the kind of shaggy we somebody like us and she went through, and where we heard the story unfold, a lot of us could not even contain is that how is it possible for a church husband and wife who are active in church, who the wife is a blessed singer, could be treating his wife like that? you know all the gory stories that the children later released to the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talen, at that time, of how their papa go beat their mama, tie and down like goats. That even there was a person that gave their mama a car at that time, but their father will put the children inside, and he will tell the wives to walk to church. And the same when they are coming back, we are thinking, they do not. Why do we African women, or should I stream it down to Nigerian women, why do we centralize men that are not serving us? Why do we put so much importance? Yes, we know, when you are a woman and you have a boyfriend, or you have, let's even say, a husband in your life, he is supposed to take the leadership position. He's supposed to protect, nurture you, and you're supposed to submit to him. Not him now turning you into, you know, a mental patient, or snuffing the. I'm here to understand. Kí ló ń ṣe a lot of àwọn obìnrin these days gan-an? We know a lot of us, the àti sọ jí ojú wa ti là. A lot of us these days, insane, we don't even take chances anymore. Mr. Man, ṣó ti sú ẹni? Mr. Man, ó gbá mi létí lẹ́ni àtọ́lá oníṣẹ̀lẹ̀, jẹ́ ká fúnra aláyè náà ká tó lura wa pa. A lot of people ti gbọ́n, but unfortunately we have some people who are still helpless despite their level of education. For example, in this case we're about to talk about, because it's even really hard to explain. This woman here, her name is Barrister Temitope Odu. She's been married, not for 1, 2, 5, 10 years. She's been married for over 20 years to the same husband. And when you think about people getting married and staying married for 10, 20 years and above, they've gone through a lot. Now that's the time when the children are grown and possibly no longer so dependent, and they have more time for themselves, to enjoy themselves, to have fun, to reminisce on the good times and the bad times, and plan towards, retirement and ifọ̀kànbalẹ̀. Why a lot of people enjoy this? A lot of people, agbako, they are inside more agbako in their life. Now, this woman, she's a lawyer, as you heard, her name is Barrister. She decided to, despite everything she's going through, to say, jẹ́ kí n progress ara mi, jẹ́ kí n improve ara mi. And you when you're in your pain and you're trying to channel your pain into something, and you put your effort in it, God has a way of rewarding we women. It's just like a married woman now who has been faithful to her husband, being the best wife, even sometimes supporting the house, or even being the one to carry the whole responsibilities of the house. You know how men can be very grumpy. Some men can be grumpy when they don't have money, or when they are broke, or their business are not going well, or maybe they are in between jobs. So a good woman definitely has to fill in the gap, has to step in for the short period when the man will get his balance again. But what exactly happens when, despite everything you're doing, your husband will feel lọ́kàn balẹ̀? And inclusively gbasgbos. This particular woman, he said, ọkọ ẹ̀ máa nà, I can't use some words, ṣó ti yé yín, so máa turn ẹ̀ sí Yorùbá. Wọ́n ní ọkọ ẹ̀ máa nà lálùpàjúdé ni. Pé in fact gan, ó lose eyín mẹ́ta, kì í ṣe eyín ẹyọ kan, kì í ṣe méjì o, eyín mẹ́ta ni woman yìí ti lose. Nígbà tí Lulu fẹ́ ba tọ̀tá ẹ̀ jẹ́, wọ́n láwọn neighbors wọn, the neighbors will intervene, you know how it is now. Neighbors wọn, ẹ má lu ìyá yìí pa, ẹ má ṣe ìyá yìí léṣe, kí ló lè tó wọn tó bá wọn parí ìjà. And not just neighbors alone, no. Even in their church. Wọ́n ti mọ̀ wọ́n. Stage kan máa wà téèyàn máa ti ẹ̀dí láyè tó jẹ́ pé when you are in your marriage with your husband for 20 years, it will even be a thing of shame for your younger ones tán tí marry àbí tán ṣì wà married tán tí marriage wọn ò tiẹ̀ tí tó tí kọ́ máa gbọ́ pé ìwà àtọkọ ẹ̀ ń jà ẹ̀ ń lura yín. Is some things the rate at which some of us are not thinking is appalling. Is appalling, and it's majorly because we Nigerian women, we centralize men a lot. Yes, if your husband is good to you, yes, if your husband is still dead here, yes, if your husband is not Bali Ayile, yes, but don't centralize him to the point that you will lose your brain faculty. Obìnrin mi wà in the name of marriage, ó ti rán medulla oblongata, ó ti rán níṣẹ́, kò function mọ́. All because you want to be a Mrs. All because you want to be under your husband's roof. All because you don't want, well, what will people say? Bí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ nìkan kò ní lágbá fún what will people say o. When your mental health, your physical health, your self-esteem, your life wà ní under the boss. Because this story is not even about, when we say women empowerment, women enlightenment, this woman is enlightened for crying out loud. She's a lawyer. She is a lawyer. Thomas sọ pé àwọn tó ní minds, enlightened minds, with all due respect to all other professions, lawyers are enlightened. It is an enlightening of the mind. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi certificate sílẹ̀. But sometimes because we are soaked in that mess of a bad marriage, and àti wá sọ di ẹ̀wù tá à ń wọ̀ lójoojúmọ́, you will not realize that you're drowning in your life. Obìnrin mi ò rántí nǹkan tó ń jáyọ̀ mọ́. Some women don't even know what it is to exfoliate their skin, to even relax and put the legs on the table. Tọ́kọ bá ń bọ̀ tí wọ́n tọ̀ kọ́ wọ́n bá dún báyìí, heart wọn máa jábọ́ sí orí tongue wọn ni. Ìgbà tí ò sí fọkànbalẹ̀. Tọ́ bá jókòó ọkàn lè ní wọ́n jókòó rápàtà. Tọ́ bá gorí bẹ́ẹ̀dì gan lè ní ṣe lọ́sùn sórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì bí elephant. Tọ́ bá ń jẹun gan lè lọ́ ń jẹun bí olè. Those emotional, physical, abuse, ó máa ń pààyàn, ó máa ń yára pààyàn ju accident lọ. This woman was just called to the bar. You know what is called to the bar when you just finish your law course and you finish your law school and you're called to the bar and everything. So for her, she's looking towards a better life, better opportunities. Okay, tí mo ṣe law course yìí, màá tún ní more prospects. Màá tún wà more, everybody's looking for the better thing you can do. So she has improved herself. She has improved herself. So several years of nínà, BTB, ìgbájú ìgbámú, neighbor ti sọ, they're tired. Eyín mẹ́ta ti fò yọ lórí nínà. Wọ́n níbi tí ó le dé ká má fọ̀rọ̀ gùn, ọkọ ló lù pa. Ọkọ ṣe kí ni? Ọkọ lù pa, ọkọ gbẹ̀mí ẹ̀, ó lù pa. So the question people are now asking is, how do we help ourselves as women? Ṣẹ́rúbìnrin mi láti ilẹ̀ kì í gbọ́ kì í gbà ní, kódà tó bá ń rí friend ẹ̀ gan, tó bá ti rí po tí ń dáwọ́ rú, kò tiẹ̀ ní dúró. And I will always say it, you need to apply self-love with a sprinkle of selfishness. I don't know how best to explain that word, that phrase, or that sentence. Apply self-love to yourself with a sprinkle of selfishness and with a healthy dose of common sense. Kí ni tẹ́ pa obìnrin tá bá ti ń love báyìí, common sense wa báyìí máa ń fly away ni. Yes, if you're all mushy, is treating you well, of course. But when you now find out that you're questioning your self-worth, the man that's supposed to protect you is the one ló ń fún ẹ ní gbájúgbámú. And you're not sitting down and thinking about your life that, what is going on? This is not the man I married. This is not the man I dated. Now, I'm going to go into the comment section where this was shared to read some of the comments. Before I do that, it was alleged that our pastor Nico Duro, that you know how some pastors will be. Don't leave your husband's house. Just pray and fast. The Lord will take control. Everything will be fine. If you're fasting for 7 days, increase it to 100 days. If you're fasting for 100 days, increase it to 365 days. Ọ̀sà ti jẹ gbogbo fún ẹ̀tàn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ kọ́kọ́ máa wò ta láyé ta wà ń sìn ó gbàdúrà tó ti gbàdúrà fún ara ẹ̀ tán tó ti gbàdúrà fún ọmọ ẹ̀ tán. Nobody says you cannot gbàdúrà for your husband, but the more, if you keep doing some things for another human being and you are depreciating, okay, let's say as women we can do everything for the ones we love, especially for our children. It's okay, it's for your kids. But for your spouse that has yí gbirigidi mú ẹ lọ́wọ́ 360 degrees, ọmọ tó bá gbàbẹ̀tọ̀ tó bá yí kọ́lí tó lọ ó lọ gbé ó ṣe kí ni ó lọ gbé bàbá máa wà all right. Àwọn family bàbá gan ló máa tètè sọ fún pé kó lọ wáyà ó pé an elderly man cannot be alone, and it's true. The level of dependency, for those people who have been married for 20-30 years, very good wives, they really can stay alone. Tí ìyàwó wọn bá lọ síbì kan for weekend kan báyìí, bóyá ó lọ ṣe event kan níbì kan àbí ó lọ family function ẹ̀ kan, àwọn bàbá mi máa gbọ̀n ni. Wọ́n bọ́ yín gbómi kaná. Wọ́n bọ́ ṣe é ṣe kankan. They are used to their wives. But a woman can hold herself down till the age of 200 years. Tí oúnjẹ yẹn tí ó bá lè dúró dáná, if a woman grows old by herself, tí ó bá lè dúró dáná, á jókòó lórí àpótí, á dáná camp gas àbí lórí firewood kìíní ẹ̀. Lórí ìjókòó ẹ̀ á fọṣọ ẹ̀, á sá nǹkan ẹ̀. The woman can live a life. It is the men that need women. And a lot of times when they are even growing older, they need the woman to take care of them. You know how selfish a lot of them are, not all. I'm not saying men are not self-regulated as well, but majority, ẹ fẹ́ yàwó fún wọn, ìyàwó tán ní ẹ fẹ́ fún wọn yẹn, iṣẹ́ lagó ṣe kú ni. Iṣẹ́ lagó ṣe kú. So that máa rán létí tó máa lògùn hypertension, tó máa lògùn diabetes, kí dáàdì má ṣubú bathroom, kó má ṣe kíní kan. Now that this woman has subjected herself to helplessly, let me use the word helplessly, to all this abasha, gbogbo ìyà tọkọ ẹ fi jẹ, tó wá kú ìwà ńkọ́, ṣáyé stop ni. If you refuse to apply self-love in your life, when you do and you pay, life will not pause for half a second. For half a second, life will not pause. Ó ti lọ nìyẹn. And Jesus will not jump down from heaven. Allah will not jump down from heaven to come and carry your load so that you can live to live. Then you go apply common sense. Ẹlòmíì, àwọn family àti máa advice ẹ̀, wọ́n máa ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ kò ní gbọ́. Àwọn madam Mobaye kú Mrs. Ẹ wá da ọmọ yín sí riboribo. Wọ́n ti lọ sìn, ó ti lọ sinmi. But do you know the psychological, what are we doing to our children? Some single women, don't need self-control, don't have self-regulatory, don't decide láti heal, then láti live fáwọn ọmọ wọn àti láti enjoy ayé ara wọn tọ́lọ́run fún àwọn. Enjoyment does not mean you frolicking around though. Get me very well. There are a lot of single women that once they leave their marriage, they don't even want to have anything to do with a man. They don't want to, as in, ọkùnrin máa ń sí single woman, especially a woman that has given her everything to her marriage, as in everything. Tó bá dàbàrú tán, she doesn't, ẹ bá sọ fún pé ẹ tẹ̀ fẹ́yàn àbíkọ́ ọkùnrin kan máa tẹ̀lé kó máa lé kiri, ó máa kọ́kọ́ wàhálà ó lè lagi mọ́ ẹ lórí. It takes a lot of women some years, not even months, to heal. I know some people get over it quickly, but a lot of women, they don't throw their energy to their children. Especially tó yẹ pé ọmọ ẹ̀ kéré tó wò pé ìrìn àjò ń pọ̀. Especially tí ò níṣẹ́ tó ní pension, máa jáṣẹ́ mọ́ra bí ẹni máa kú. Bó jẹ́ lace ló ń tà, bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ni máa já mọ́ra wọn. Bó jẹ́ ọjà ló ń tà lọ́jà náà, ẹ máa rí tó máa lọ láàárọ̀, jí láàárọ̀, jí ń dájí ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Because kò fẹ́, ó mọ̀ pé tóun ò bá ní owó lọ́wọ́ láti bọ́ra àtàwọn ọmọ ẹ̀, òun ò ní lè help ẹ̀. Ìyẹn ló máa rí kóbìnrin mi máa báyàn sùn kiri ọlá pé káwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ lè jẹun kó lè fọwọ́ sẹ́nu. But this woman now, she has 3 children for the man. If you zoom in properly, you will see the obituary. They are going to do a transitional work for her. And the transitional work, the obituary doesn't have the name of her husband. It does have the name of her 3 children. But she's gone. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ti arrest ọkọ, but wọ́n tún ti fi ilẹ̀ lórí investigation. Let me go into the comment section, like I said earlier, to read people's opinion. Somebody said, our mothers didn't divorce. Òun nìyẹn o. Another commenter said, exactly o. Another said, it is always good to verify information before posting. We attended the same church. The pastor never told her to stay in the marriage. The husband angrily left the church several years ago because the pastor and church leaders advised her to leave the marriage. The church has supported her in several ways, but she kept going back to the man. One commenter saw it. The commenter's name is Iyakemi. I took it from this blog called Temilola Shobola on Instagram, so you can check as well. The husband had really left the church several years ago because the pastor and church leaders advised her to leave the marriage. The church has supported her in several ways, but she kept going back to the man, even in her securing a property, and she was advised not to take Christopher in. But before we knew it, he was living with her. Hey, that's one thing, Tony Bubanko, trauma bond. That you question maltreating. I got you mind defend. I'm still going to read the continuation of the comments. You now find out ẹni kó má lọ bá tó ń lù ṣe léṣe yẹn kẹ́ tó ṣẹ́jú pẹ́rẹ́ ó tún ti lọ bá. According to reports, she got her own property, her own house. But kó tó ṣẹ́jú pẹ́rẹ́ ọkọ tó ń lù Christopher ló porúkọ ọkọ ẹ̀ ìyẹn tún ti wá kó bá. Kí lẹ tún fẹ́ káwọn yẹn ṣe? Jẹ́ ká continue commenting. The church is mourning this great loss, but we can't continue to keep quiet when wrong information is flying around about the pastor and church. The signs were very glaring, but she kept going back to him. Will the church go and move her out of the husband's house? This commenter is saying with her full chest that she is a member of the church, that the pastor never asked her to stay and fight in the marriage, that in fact they've warned them to leave each other, and the husband got upset that how can the church be telling his wife to leave him, and the wife got a property. I think maybe she moved to her own property, and before they could say Jack Robinson, she don't accept the man back, and they were living together. Ṣé pẹ́ lómi nǹkan orí tó máa jẹ̀kú kò bá wọ face cap àbí kó wọ helmet yóò padà jẹ̀kú ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún ka comment mi. Somebody else said, God bless you for shedding a light on this narration. That's why I don't blame or take sides in situations like this. It's always a half shit story. Some women are so stubborn, foolishly insecure, and fall in love with men that useless them. It's very true. Some women are really, really stubborn. Ṣé ikú tó wà tó lómi ìrìn wájú yẹn tí ò bá tí ì lọ dìrọ̀ mọ́. Ìyẹ́ ò bá bẹ́ẹ̀ káwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ kéékèèké káwọn fámìlì ẹ̀ pariwo títí kò ní gbọ́. eléyìí ti bọ́ sí woman, it's not even about this woman tó ti lọ, òun ti ṣe títí ó ti parí ìrìn àjò ẹ̀, ó ti lọ sinmi. Ó kàn jẹ́ kọ́ṣẹ́ yẹn, ó kàn jẹ́ kọ́kọ́ ẹ fi gún ọṣẹ tóun láti ṣe ni, ó kàn jẹ́ kọ́kọ́ yẹn ṣe òun rádaràda ni. When a 56-year-old woman who is empowered enough to advance her education, to have her own property, cannot make up her own mind. And that's why when you're talking about all these Gen Zs, àwọn Gen Zs mi wọ́n lọ́pọlọ jà àwọn ìyá wa lọ o, àtàwọn middle age woman or women lọ. Àwọn Gen Z wọ́n ti gé wọn létí lọ. You bring nonsense, you collect it. Wọ́n ti gé wọn létí lọ, wọn gbọ́ pa. A kàn sọ pé wọn fẹ́ dún lé ọkọ ni, nígbà tó ń rí pé ẹ̀yin ìyá àwọn gan àlùbami ni bàbá wọn fi yín ṣe ń lé ọkọ. Àwa dúró nígbà tó kọ́kọ́ gba first gbájú, a dúró kí ọkọ tún yọ òun lójú bọ́lẹ̀ in the name of I want to be a Mrs. Tó dẹ̀ lówó ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́, tó yẹ pé jọ́ kejì báyìí ọmọ ti lọ, ajẹ́ kan wá gbóhùn dìgbàdìgbà nínú body bag. Ẹ jẹ́ ká take another comment. The commenter responded to another commenter saying, "You said well, Joe. Even if the church didn't intervene, her position alone is enough, but she chose not to act because of what people say. Christian own my foot." Another person said, "This is the point. We are always bothered about what people will say. It really has nothing to do with religion. It is you, yourself, that will stand alone when the situation comes. It is very painful, yes." What we can my friend say, what we can kò tí ì jó ẹ. The longer you stay, the more stripped your self-esteem will be taken off you, the more your mental health will be dragged from you, and the more useless you become to yourself and even to that man. À ń sọ lójoojúmọ́, kò eléyìí sì ìyá 56 ni. Ṣàmásọ pé ẹni tó wà 56-year-old married táwọn tó láwọn ọmọ mẹ́ta tó ti di lawyer, ṣàmásọ pé kò achieve nǹkan láyé ẹ̀ ni. When somebody show you who he or she is, don't argue it out. That is who the person is. You see women walking, be any maku. If you go online now, before you can see one man advertising something, you'll have seen 87 women. Ìtò ń jójó, àti tó ní ìdí tó ń jùdì, àti tí ò ní ìdí tó ń jùdì, ìtò ní fine face wà, ìtò ní fine face wà, ìtò wọṣọ dáadáa wà, ìtò wọṣọ dáadáa wà, ìtò kọ́mọ síwájú tó ń pàtẹ ọjà, tó ń lago lórí ọjà lórí Instagram gbogbo. Nígbà tó mọ̀ pé bùkátà wà nílẹ̀ fóun, nígbà tó mọ̀ pé àdágbé àdáfà wà nílẹ̀ fóun, nígbà tó mọ̀ pé ọkọ tóun fi sílẹ̀ kò rán òun pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ deadbeat ni, tí ò lè fẹ́ kí bí pa àwọn ọmọ òun kú, tí ò lè fẹ́ kẹ́nìkan máa fọwọ́ máa gbá ọ̀gọ àwọn ọmọ òun káàkiri. Let's take another comment. Somebody said, "Thank you for this explanation. The pastor and the church is always the first to get attacked in scenarios like this. She is 56, a barrister. She should be able to make her own choices." Oh, yes. Somebody else also said, she was old and educated enough to know what to do. She chose to stay in a deadly marriage and unfortunately it consumed her. Pastor and the church are inconsequential to her decisions and nobody should drag the pastor. May her soul rest in peace. So, àwọn tó máa ń ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ẹ̀ lọ ti sọ̀rọ̀ sórí blog yẹn o. But she's gone and she has more life to live. 56-year-old woman is not old. She's just in her midlife. At 56 years, ó ti gbàgbé pé òun lóyún, òun tó ti mọ mẹ́ta, ó ti gbàgbé pé òun wọ ẹmọ láàárọ̀, àwọn ọmọ ẹ ti dàgbà, wọ́n lè wọ kitchen kan dáná. Time tó yẹ kó sinmi, kó jí láàárọ̀ gbogbo sọ àwọn ọmọ pé hey, go and make me yam and sauce, egg sauce. Oh yeah, you go and warm my car. Oh yeah, you kó máa jèrè ọmọ. Kó o sùn, kó o jí lásìkò tó ń wù ẹ́, kó ṣe pé o fẹ́ jí, o fẹ́ ṣe lunch táwọn ọmọ máa gbé lọ school, o fẹ́ gbé wọn lọ sí school, o fẹ́ lọ gbé wọn padà. Tásìkò ṣe mọ̀ pé this motherhood process, it's a phase. It comes in phases. Some people are still in their motherhood of, God, I want to have children. Oh God, my firstborn is 2. I need to get pregnant for another one. There will be a time when maybe you've had all of them, yeah, and it is your time of, hey, mommy, somebody beats me. Hey, can you come, mommy? Hey, torí ẹ máa fẹ́ blow. Obìnrin mi ní support. Obìnrin mi ò ní support. Obìnrin mi ọkọ ẹ̀ wà very involved with the children. Obìnrin mi wà deadbeat lọ́kọ, òun ló ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Ó kàn ń fi akọgbé ni. And there will be a time when those children will now maybe finish primary school, they are going to secondary and now institution. when you're supposed to rest, when all the values you put in them, you're just nurturing it. And you can start resting, start doing your skincare. You're able to even go for business meeting. Out of Port Harcourt, you can go. You know your children are fine. They don't need to call you, mommy, how I fry egg. They're already in their teens and young adults. They can sort themselves. So at that stage of a marriage is when a woman should see me. But unfortunately, ìgbà yẹn ló máa ń yíwọ́ nígbà míì. Ìgbà yẹn dẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀, a woman is going through a menopause. At 56, she's menopausal. In fact, ó yẹ kó ti sọ goodbye sí menstruation. Dealing with ẹlòmíràn dẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ menstrual kìíní ẹ̀ bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣe báyìí àfi bí ẹni pé wọ́n ṣàṣì ni. But enlightenment ti pọ̀ gan these days. So we women are meant to go through a lot of phases in our lives. And honestly, life is beautiful when you see a man whose head corrects from beginning to the end. So women are blessed. Wọn ò ní wàhálà ọkùnrin rárá. Látàárọ̀ ayé wọn, ọkọ tó fẹ́ tó yàn láàyò, kò fi wọ́n ṣeré to the end tọkọ yẹn fi lọ. Ọkọ wọn yẹn ò fobìnrin kan yán wọn lójú rí. Ọkọ wọn yẹn ò lé wọn síta rí, ọkọ yẹn ò nà wọn rí. Ọkọ yẹn great provider ni, excellent father to the children ni. Tó bá jẹ́ irú obìnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ fọwọ́ gbárí mú kó lórí mi, ẹlẹ́dàá mi ò ṣeun. Because you don't know what God has done for you. I'm telling you. You honestly don't have an idea of what God has done for you. But if it's on the flip side, as a woman, tẹ́ pé láàárọ̀ ayé ẹ̀ báyìí, kó tẹ̀ ṣe good girl kó wá fọ́kọ. Tẹ́ pé láàárọ̀ ayé ẹ̀ báyìí ilẹ̀ ru ti dànù. Tẹ́ pọ́kọ àárọ̀ ẹ̀ báyìí àgbákò ni ó ti wọ̀ tán kó tó mọ̀ páládánwò ló fẹ́. Ló bá máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. Kó tún wá worst kó tún wá rẹ́ mọ́lẹ̀. Kó rẹ́ mẹ́ta mẹ́rin márùn-ún lẹ̀. Kọ́kọ́ wá yíwọ́ ṣọmọ pé tí ẹ bá ẹ nìyẹn. Wàá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa ṣiṣẹ́ bí ẹni máa kú. Wàá máa ṣiṣẹ́ bí ẹni máa kú. Wàá máa ṣiṣẹ́ bí ẹni máa kú. Orí wàhálà yẹn lobìnrin mi máa jù sí. Ṣùgbọ́n tọ́lọ́run bá wá ṣàánú tó wojú àánú ẹ̀ wo obìnrin yẹn pé this woman, God has shown her mercy, or you have a good family support, or you have inheritance. Tẹ́ pé kò ṣe pé òun san owó kan káàkiri, bóyá bàbá ẹ nílé kan tó fún ẹ, àbí ilé kan tó inherit tó wà níbẹ̀ tó san rent, tó wá ṣiṣẹ́ tó wá ní good, bóyá business acumen, tí business wá ń boom, tẹ́ pé àti san school fees ọmọ ẹ̀ ń ṣe problem fún ẹ. Then you can now start resting a bit. Tí wọ́n náà káwọn ọmọ káàkiri bí ẹdìyẹ. That's why you find some women, when they've done maybe first marriage and the whole thing no work again, they'll just tell you that, Mr. Man, jẹ́ ká máa fẹ́ra from over the bar. Ní kò sí iṣẹ́ káwọn mẹ́rin lọ. And really, nobody will teach you the formula to use for your life. It is for you to sit down and adopt the formula that will best work for you and your children. Because in everything, I always tell women, you are the most important in the equation. If you are good mentally, your children will enjoy you mentally. If you're good financially, your children will enjoy you financially. If you're good emotionally, your children will enjoy you emotionally. If you're good psychologically, your children will enjoy you psychologically. Tó bá wá di òdì, ta flip gbogbo ẹ̀ ń sìn. When you are not stable financially, your children will suffer it. If you are not good mentally, your children will suffer it. If you are not good psychologically, your children will suffer it. If you are not good emotionally, your children will suffer it. So you are a fountain on its own. Whether you are married, or you're single, or you're widowed, as a woman, you are a fountain on its own. So you have to constantly make sure that you are in a place to be watered, not to be drained. Ṣẹ́rí ìyàwó mi wà, wọ́n ti fúnlé ayé ẹ̀gbẹ́ báyìí. Wọ́n ti múlé ayé báyìí, wọ́n ti fún nígbà tí wọ́n bá kí aṣọ sómi kó wá fún pa. Báyìí obìnrin mi ṣe rí nìyẹn. Obìnrin mi gan á jẹun kò ní taste oúnjẹ gan ò taste mọ́ lẹ́nu ẹ̀. Stress ti pàkó. So people don't even sleep peacefully at night. Insomnia ni. Wọ́n ti ronú BPT. Ìfúnpá ti ga over the bar. Choose yourself. Live. We will not stop talking about it because we knew that when that Osinachi's own happened, we saw a few weddings where women call off the weddings. I remember we had it online then. And they will say, it is because of listen to your instincts. A lot of us women are king born. We know it's very hard to advise a woman who is in love. But when you are loving without sense, you see all these men, some of these men, I would say some, They are utterly selfish. Ọkùnrin tó yẹ kó wà láyé gan tó ń lù ẹ́ lálùbami tó ń fobìnrin mi yan ẹ lójú tó bá kú tán kí ló máa ṣe àwa stop kò ní ṣe obìnrin mi mọ́ dey play. Come on, another comment. We had a program in church about marital issues and all concerning marriage, and I threw a question and asked my pastor if a woman that is experiencing a DV should leave her marriage. My pastor smiled and said boldly, yes, that the woman should stay and be praying for her husband till he repents. I was surprised to hear that, and this is why most people stay till they die. But when you live a life, they go tag you with names. It's well. My sister, ẹni tó bá wùn kó gbọ́rọ̀ pastor tí pastor ní kó jókòó sílé ọkọ ẹ̀ kó lu ẹ̀ pa wàhálà àti ẹni, you're an adult. Another person said, hey, yeah, what will people say? I'm staying for the kids. Now the kids will definitely survive with you. Nice one, you try. At 56, imagine, I'm so pissed. Yes, don't piss you off. It's pissing one off. Because this kind of woman, tó fara gbàyà tó fi tẹ́ mi fi bọ́lá rẹ̀ yìí, the same thing tó máa advise ọmọ ẹ̀ nìyẹn náà. Tọ́mọ ẹ bá marry. Tọkàn ṣì yà jẹ́ tó lù á ní má wọ́rì nítorí obìnrin nílé ọkọ nìyẹn ọlọ́mọdé kan gbọ́mọ inú body bag wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ńlé because of what people will say. Church people, ta ló ń jẹ́ church people? Society ló fẹ́ fóúnjẹ sórí tébù lẹ̀. Ṣé society wà mẹ́mbà tó ń dún hẹlẹhẹlẹ tó ń gbádùn tó ń ṣe kólóbákólóbá pẹ̀lú ọkọ ẹ̀? You will take responsibilities for the consequences of your actions. Let's talk tough here. Tọ́mọ nínú ọkùnrin àti obìnrin tó yẹ kó rí ẹ pé jù obìnrin ni. But a lot of women, instead of them to use their orí pípé as emotional intelligence, kọ́ máa fi bá tèèyàn jẹ́, kọ́ máa rojọ́ tí ò kàn wọ́n, kọ́ máa dá sọ́jọ́ tí ò kàn wọ́n, kọ́ máa ní focus lọ́n ṣe energy wọn fún. The moment you agree tó dá dùbúlẹ̀ ìtọkùnrin ṣé bọ́kùnrin yẹn ṣe tán tó dìde báyìí in the next few minutes it's good to go again. But sórí ìwọ ìsídá kìíní yẹn dúró àbí kò dúró tọ́lọ́n bá fámísì tó dúró ṣọmọ kó ti wọ̀ nìyẹn. Ó wọ̀ in the sense that ó ti lóyún. The decision of okay is wanted belle or not wanted belle ó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa ronú láti bẹ̀yẹn lọ okay ká keep ẹ̀ ń ṣe mí lénìí ọyàn tẹ́ńdà lénìí orí ń fọ́ ẹ lọ́la òun bí lọ́túnla ìwọ obìnrin ló máa fara kó. Ìwọ obìnrin ló máa ṣe kí ni ló máa fi ara kó. So when a woman understands the woman's cycle, you have to sit your brain down, sit with yourself. You cannot allow your life to constantly be a mistake. There are some tough decisions you have to take for yourself. And you see these days, a man can flip on you at any time. Kọ́lọ́ má jẹ́ kí ọkọ wa di ọ̀tá wa. Ọkùnrin mi tún wá worse tí wà tí ẹ bá níjà tẹ́ ẹ̀jọ́ fẹ́ra yín mọ́. A tún wá da ọmọ sí ẹ láyà. A sọ fún ẹ pé tó bá yá ọmọ á wá bàbá ẹ̀. Ṣọ́rọ̀ nìyẹn. Àwọn family àtún máa support ẹ̀. Ṣọ́rọ̀ nìyẹn. Ìwọ ló máa wà sádùd. Àwọn obìnrin ti I checked this up some days ago. Some young ladies were saying, well, if you fight with your husband and you have issues with your husband, don't carry the pikin o. Ìwọ náà fọmọ ilẹ̀ fún ẹjọ́ bí ni. Jẹ́ kó tọ́jú ọmọ ẹ̀ kí ìwọ náà kọ́kọ́ lọ stable náà kó get ara ẹ̀. And people were like, obìnrin yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kíníkan. You see, there were some things a lot of women will not do many years ago, but these days, wọ́n á do ẹ̀ bàjẹ́bàjẹ́. A ṣe kí ni? Wọ́n á do ẹ̀ ṣẹ́rọ́bìnrin mi kó tó marry ló ti ní career ẹ̀ kó tó marry ló ti ní business ẹ̀. So when things go south, kò tiẹ̀ níbẹ̀ rojọ́ ó máa yọ owó nú owó ni tó máa fi tọ́jú ara rẹ̀ tó máa fi lọ gba ilé síbòmí àbí bóyá ní supportive family tó máa lọ bá ẹlòmíì ò ní family support bóyá kò sí ìyá kò sí bàbá àbí kò tiẹ̀ ní wọn kó má sòwò kọ́ pé yàrá kan làwọn náà ń gbé wà ní ṣòfẹ́ lọ kó bá wọn ìwọ tó ti ń gbé flat. Àbóbìnrin míì tẹ́ pé kò parí school gan kan tó fún lóyún kò ní business kò ní career, so that one has no choice. Ọlọ́mọdé awáyé ìyà. When we come to women and our issues, it is multi-dimensional. You alone would ensure you're well enlightened, you've developed your emotional intelligence, you build a solid support system for yourself so that ìpàṣán ìyà kò ní dún lẹ́yìn ọrùn ẹ. Ìpàṣán ìyà kò ní dún lẹ́yìn ọrùn ẹ. Gone are the days when you have young ones or you have children that are in their early 20s and kíní kan ilé ọkọ. Not that you don't gbàdúrà to ilé ọkọ. These days discussion are after financial literacy and independence. Ọmọ ẹ tó mọ̀ pé like láti máa ṣe trade tó ń ta nǹkan díẹ̀ wá owó jọ fún ó yá. Bó ṣe ń rajà lórí Alibaba rẹ̀, bó ṣe ń rajà lórí AliExpress, bó ṣe ń import, bó ṣe ń kágò ẹrù wọlé ni ó yá. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti báyìí. Or okay, a rí bóyá 10, 15, 20 million kan ó yá gba China lọ kó lọ wá factory tó ti ń ṣe nǹkan báyìí káwọn bó ṣe máa brand ẹ̀ kó máa ta nǹkan táwọn ìyá gidi tó ń empower àwọn ọmọbìnrin lé lórí ń sìn láyé ta wà ń sìn lélẹ̀. Because you understand the importance of a woman or a girl child being financially empowered. Ayé ìgbà táwọn àǹdàgbà làwọn obìnrin máa ní kíní kan parí university báyìí ilé ọkọ ni next. Ayé ṣe simple rọrùn gbà yẹn, ayé ti wà complex and complicated láyé ta wà ń sìn. Àwọn ọkùnrin míì gan fẹ́ gbé responsibility. A lot of young men are not even ready to, even àwọn bàbá wa ń gbà yẹn náà mélòó ló ń ṣe responsibility. Wàá gbọ́ mi tẹ́ pa ní ìyá òun ló ń ṣe gbogbo ẹnu ilé. A tún máa fi bọ́kọ láṣìírí. Another comment said, if I'm our children, I will never forgive the man. I will abandon, neglect, and run away from him forever. We can never have anything to do again till eternity. Ireo. May our gentle soul continue to rest in peace. Amen. Nyokoni, oh, so sad. She didn't live to live. Another commenter said, live to live. Oh, I'm glad I did. It hasn't been easy, but God has never stopped coming through. Rest easy, mama. Another said, any pastor can never dictate for me. Oh, so sad. Another said, if you're thinking about what society, church, family, or friends will say for being a single mother while you're being beaten blue back to back, then whatever you get is justified. I'm pissed. Another said, they should dump the corpse at the church for 6 hours. Lobaton. Another said, another Osinachi's case. Yes, it's another one. Sadly so. Another said, this broke me. Many older women like her were raised to find identity only through marriage, to endure, to pray, and for it will change. And that conditioning keeps them loyal to pain until it takes their lives. That is why we must teach women and our daughters that love should never hurt. No vow, no religion, no culture is worth buying for. Commenter is about finish programming. Ó ti encapsulate gbogbo ohun tá fẹ́ sọ. Ó ti encapsulate nǹkan tá fẹ́ sọ pé àwọn ìyá wa wọ́n raise wọn pé identity as a woman is for you to be a wife. The validation as ọmọbìnrin ni pé kó dìyàwó èèyàn kan, kó lè endure pain, kó lè endure it will change, kó lè gbàdúrà kó gbàwẹ̀ tí fún ẹ máa fi lọ́pọ̀. All in the name of to be a wife. That was how a lot of our mothers were raised. But how many people raised our own fathers at that time to be a man of leadership, to be a man of hard work, to be a man of 360 degrees provision and provider for his family, to be a man who will be present. When I mean present, it means when you are in your house, you are in your house. You are a father. You leave that saga of being executive chairman of wherever you're coming from. You play with your children. You communicate with your children. You communicate with your wife. Not that you are in the house, you're pressing phone and sending noodles, and your 5 girlfriends are sending. How do you want to be present? Your mind is in pieces already. May the soul of Barrister Temitope Felicia Odu rest in peace. Because honestly, she's gone. It's -1. And unfortunately, another will still happen. Another will still happen. Sadly so. It will still happen. And we'll still come around and talk about it. But the good thing is a lot of people are being enlightened. A lot of women are not staying, they're living to live. There are domino consequences saying, is something you're embarking on. Marriage is something you're embarking on. It's either it works well or it doesn't work well. If it doesn't work well, you can try, okay, kí ni mo lè fara gbá. Ó tó bá ti di oní gbòs. Bí tí máàní ṣe nà ìyàwó ẹ̀ pa yìí sìn. Má dúró kọ́nù ẹ̀ pa o. Ṣàánú àwọn ọmọ tó bí. Ṣàánú àwọn ọmọ tó bí. Nobody will take care of your children the way you will take care of them. None. Stay alive for yourself, to enjoy your life, to enjoy the hard work you've done. Woman yẹn ló kọ́lé ń sìn. Ṣé o enjoy ilé náà ni? Ṣé o enjoy ilé náà ni? Ọjọ́ mélòó la fẹ́ lò láyé tá à ń wẹ̀wò erin? May God help all women, and may the soul of this woman rest in perfect peace. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. That's all I can say. Hopefully, we women will have the will to live before it's too late. Be real.